Test Aleph, Base, Gimel. There we go.
Be right there. Ooh. Yeah. You gotta be right there. Yeah. That's the button? Yeah.
Test 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, come on in. Ladies and gentlemen, come on in for the Latke-Hamentaschen Debate starting in any minute now. Ladies and gentlemen, come on in for the Latke-Hamentaschen Debate starting in 1 minute. 1 figurative minute. Okay, you can do the welcome. The welcome and the welcome mat. All right. Let me make sure that we have all of our folks. Go. Let's get into Rabbi. We're going to sit the show on the road. Can I do opening music? No. Actually, we don't need to use this.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody. The sun is down. It is the first night of Hanukkah. We're so glad that you could come and celebrate here with us at Beth El for our second annual Latke-Hamentaschen Debate. I promise I have no partiality, even though my shirt and her shirt and some other shirts say otherwise. It is Hanukkah after all, so it's pretty difficult to find a Hamentaschen shirt this time of year. We are so excited to hear from our competitors who will be up here in just a moment. And again, happy Hanukkah. I'm Rabbi Lissa. Thank you for coming here this evening.
Yay! So I want to do two brief things before we get started. The first is to make a blessing for the meal that we just had, and the second is to talk about one special thing coming up. So for a quick blessing, this is a prayer that is in the Talmud actually for when you have to make a quick blessing. It's called Brich Rachamana, and it goes like this. It's got 6 words. Say, repeat after me. Brich Rachamana Malka de Alma Mare de Hai Pita. Pita, which means bread, not surprisingly. So it goes like this. Brich Rachamana Malka de Alma Mare de Hai Pita. Same words. Brich Rachamana Malka de Alma Mare de Hai Pita. Brich Rachamana Malka de Alma Mare de Hai Pita. It has some English words too. You are the source of life for all that is, and your blessing flows through us. Same words. You are the source of life for all that is, and your blessing flows through us. One last time. Brich Rachamana. Brich Rachamana Malka de Alma Mare de Hai Pita. Brich Rachamana Malka de Alma Mare de Hai Pita. So a thank you to the Ribbon Shalom, to God for blessing us with everything we have at this moment on Hanukkah. Also a big thank you to Aaron Katz-Ford, who is our program chair for this wonderful event. And a big thank you to Adam Lieb, who is our MC tonight for our Latke-Hamentaschen Debate. One last announcement before I invite him up. In case you aren't doing anything on December 25th, coming up this Wednesday, a big holiday for a lot of folks out here in Akron, but actually here at Beth El, we are doing an event to share the care with our caring team. Minyan will be at 9 a.m. with Hallel and Hanukkah songs and stuff like that. And then at 10 o'clock, we will be doing our Sharing the Care event. Come have a sweet drink, something to eat, and we'll be making Hanukkah cards and filling Hanukkah carrying bags for folks in our community who are ill and homebound, and we'll be delivering them that afternoon. So if you'd like to come, we'll also be sending cards to our members that are out of town. So if you'd like to just come and do a mitzvah that morning on the general American holiday, please come that morning on 9 and especially at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Without further ado, Mr. Adam Lieb.
Oh, you can keep it going. Thank you, Hazan Matt. I'm Adam Lieb. I'll be your MC. Also, if you're doing a scavenger hunt and you need someone large and hairy, look no further. So I want to welcome you to Akron Jewish Community's second annual Latke-Hamentaschen Debate. Before we carry on, I want to recognize the participants from last year, our first annual debate. If you are here with us, I believe 75% of them are in the house. Everyone clap at Brian and clap at Sarah. Morgan Demokos and Kevin Sandell argued on behalf of Hamentaschen. Kevin's not here. Morgan is in the building somewhere. And we'll thank her next time we see her. So what is this thing, you might be asking yourself? Well, if you know, please tell the rest of us. But seriously, this is an exercise in our collective tolerance for silliness. We take a blend of traditional political debates, school graduations, legal closing arguments, as our four presenters try to make their case for either the latke or Hamentaschen. At the end, you'll get to vote, and voting is the thing. That's why we're doing this. You'll probably be boring and vote for the food you just like the best. Or maybe not. So tonight, we'll take one more step on the inquisitive journey that has plagued Jewish philosophers and culinary critics for centuries. And you're thinking, oh, I know, the three sage questions. If a latke tree falls in the forest but nobody is around to hear it, did it really make a sound? Who knows? 2, how come you never see Hamentaschen hiding in trees? Because they're that good at it. And 3, how does Adam's hair stand up like that? We will have the pleasure of hearing from Councilman Rich Swirsky, Len Rose, Molly Stock, and our first presenter, Leora Cohen. Leora Cohen is a lifelong member of Congregation Beth El. She's a K-8 science teacher at the Littman School, a Hebrew school teacher, an avid baker and chef, latke snob, and she was one of the writing contributors to Love Roller Coaster, that famous disco song by the Ohio Players. Leora Cohen, everyone.
I do love disco, but I was told that the best way to start a program I was told the best way to start a debate or any presentation, and in fact, in the 10th grade, when I had to make a presentation, my mother said, why don't you bring in your CD player and start it with a song? And I did, and I got an A, so we're going to do it again. Not that song. Wait. I'm a latke. You can sing along. I don't hear everyone. Yeah, that's better. All right. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Can I put this here? And thank you to Adam for that wonderful introduction. I didn't know anyone knew that about me in my disco days. For those of you who do not already know me, my name is Leora Cohen, and in addition to all of those wonderful things that Adam mentioned, being a cook and a baker and a science teacher, I am in fact a latke expert and daughter of other latke expert Sarah Greenblatt, winner of last year's competition. Thank you. And I strongly believe that latkes are the best Jewish food ever. And now you will too. That's true, it is. I'm going to start this by first of all mentioning that latkes are, in fact, very versatile. Latkes can be eaten plain, of course, which is obvious by its plain popularity, but the possibilities are endless when it comes to toppings, as I will show you later. Latkes are also versatile in the vegetable used to make the actual latke with. Sweet potato, zucchini, carrots, beets, onion, anything you want. As a kosher food, and one that can easily fit into a restricted diet, latkes cannot be beat. Dairy-free? You bet. Gluten-free? Of course. Kosher for Passover? No problem. Not to mention, dietitians and nutritionists will agree that the process of frying the latkes while singing Hanukkah songs actually lowers the caloric and fat content. Many people will say that latkes are best for Hanukkah, but really, they're the perfect side dish for all holiday occasions. The latke at Rosh Hashanah are perfect, as potato is tapuach adama, the apple of the earth. And how can we forget the latke on the Seder plate, symbolizing the spirit of dedication? I know, right? As I mentioned earlier, latkes are versatile in their toppings. You can dress them up with caviar and other fine fish. And you can dress them down in a more traditional applesauce or sour cream if you wish. Now, oftentimes people think of latkes as a side dish or an appetizer to dinner. However, latkes are the perfect element to any brunch. As cousin to the hash brown, how could you dispute the latke Benedict? If perhaps latkes for dinner are more your style, that's fine too. Latkes make a great vehicle for your favorite Reuben sandwich, or even open face with brisket. And of course, who does not like salty with their sweet? And yes, that is a latke s'more. You can do it too. Regardless of how you enjoy your latkes, the only real potato for a perfect latke is Yukon Gold. Named for the Yukon Territory in Canada, this is true by the way, which houses the highest mountain in North America, it is also home to archaeological proof that the First Nations to come to North America settled in the Yukon. And as it can be found in this archaeological evidence, they came from Africa in search of the most perfect potato to make the most perfect latke. And they did. Further historical evidence has showed that many successful cultures have used the latke potato for currency, especially those made from the Yukon Gold potato. Further on in history, the famous Jewish scientist Albert Einstein loved latkes, and in fact, thank you, it was said that he finally realized his theory of special relativity over a plate of crispy latkes, and I know this, I'm a science teacher. I am their science teacher. Further on, in 2012, when the Mars rover, the Curiosity, investigated the surface of this red planet, not only did they find further evidence of life and water, but they found evidence of latkes. See 'em? If that's not enough evidence to help you decide, perhaps the following slides will be the information you need. Oh wait, I missed some. In fact, in 1966, the world first met Cookie Monster. In 2006, it was revealed that he also enjoys veggies, not just cookies. Turns out they're just a sometime snack. What is not well known, though, is that through all of his years of devouring cookies, when Cookie Monster retires for the night, down on Sesame Street, he relaxes with a hot plate of latkes. In a recent study done by the Pew Research Institute, by 10,000 Jews and all those people who love them, an overwhelming number of people prefer a plain latke, followed next, of course, by latkes with applesauce and then sour cream, and only 13% of those who responded to this survey preferred Hamentaschen. Additionally, in a real-life global study done on the preferred flavor of snack foods, the greatest majority preferred flavors that were salty and savory and spicy. I know, right? All flavors that naturally lend themselves to the latke. And it is for these reasons, and more, that I believe that the latke is truly the best Jewish food ever. And now you do too. I know it. And in the famous words of perhaps the world's most famous of latkes, hold on. Oh no. Technical difficulties. Oh, really sad, sad, sad moment here. We're gonna try that again. Ready? Listen really carefully. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Who's next?
Thank you. Technical difficulties. Would you like to? Yeah. Cursor's floating away.
That's gracious.
I'll even click for yours.
Set me up back
I was admiring your skill at PowerPoint.
Thank you. Thank you.
there. Okay. Thank you, Leora. Rich Swirsky taught Sunday school for 10 years at Temple Israel, founded the Tikkun Village Project, which taught Jewish students and Akron public students environmental education. A top advisor for him was our community's own Hannah Beth Lemmerman. Everyone clap at Hannah Beth. Rich was the perennial #1 first draft choice in the Jewish Community Center Softball League in 1980, in 1981, in 1982, 1985, 1986, 7, and 8. He has a master's degree in education and was elected to Akron City Council in 2013. Please welcome Rich Swirsky.
Thank you. The previous speaker is a tough act to follow. And I know also it's kind of hard to come in now, and you guys all had a lot of latkes. You enjoyed yourself. I noticed that there definitely were a lot more latkes eaten than Hamentaschen. I was kind of doing a little survey myself. When I did teach Sunday school at Temple Israel, one of the exercises I did was to have the students count in the opening chapters of the Bible how many times is written the phrase, "the earth is good." And of course, the point of that is that when we take a look at our food, we can't only look at how it tastes, whether we enjoy it, the wonderful smells that latkes have. We have to put those aside and think a little more clearly about latkes, what they do with our health, what they do to the environment. I'm going to suggest some things to you that aren't really true, but they're kind of fun to think about, beginning with, and the title of my talk is Serving the Public Interest as a City Councilman. I was told I had to speak as a City Councilman, not as a human being, which some of you may not remember, but I used to be a human being. I've only been an elected official for 6 years, so I still have a little bit of the human being in me. And I thought it was kind of interesting to play with the H's of Rabbi Horowitz, his influence on me, Mayor Horgan, his influence on the city, and then what I propose as a potential solution to a false crisis that I'm going to describe to you would be, in the end, the election of Hannah Beth Blum, Dr. Hannah Beth Blum, to elected office. But let me start with what the problem is. Okay, so we can, do I need to signal you or? Okay, so one of the things that influenced me a lot in my life was the movie Diner. Anybody here see the movie Diner? Remember it? Okay. And one of the things that they did often late at night was rendezvous, have community eating French fries, usually with a lot of gravy on it. That was where I began to note that really there is a national potato pollution problem. It's in Baltimore. It's in other films by Barry Levinson. And I'm not just talking about those potato heads. You remember the scene where some of the congregants skip out during a service and go drive around in gas-guzzling cars, the new ones of the year, putting aside their Judaism to admire and maybe false worship of automobiles. I'm not talking about those potato heads, okay? What I'm talking about is the slavish romanticism of eating fried potatoes. Could be French fries, could be latkes. We have to take a look at what that impact is on the environment. We have to be responsible. On a regular basis, the sewers of Akron and Baltimore and other cities have been a toxic dumping ground for oil, day-old latkes that no one wants, latkes that some of you have burned and sent down the drain before your family members discovered them. Why else would federal judges order the city of Akron, Baltimore, and others around the country to completely rebuild their sewers at an exorbitant cost to taxpayers? Latkes have brought us high water bills, endless road construction, and because of the heavy potato bags brought by truck through Akron roads. There it is. Some of you may think, well, gee, it's people, lazy city workers, the city government. It's not that. It's potato trucks carrying 10-pound bags each and every day down and up our streets and creating holes that we can only look at and admire.
Tell them, potholes is short for potato holes.
Oh, let me write that one down. Okay. Now in City Council, I suggested that it is fitting that these potholes be filled with Latke remnants. But few of my Gentile colleagues are willing to risk the political fallout. Although they do respect the principle of a potato eye for a potato eye, but as Esther would tell us, they misinterpret the importance of that principle. We believe in love as much as anyone, and an eye for an eye has always been kind of unfairly assigned to our culture. But in this case, maybe it fits. Latkes also make us dependent on foreign oil. Many of you have not read the labels properly. It's in small print. I can understand that. You don't really want to know. You enjoy the latkes, but they stymie efforts to combat climate change. As truck after truck delivers 10-pound bags to area grocery stores and huge amounts of CO2 emissions go out into our atmosphere, emitting what some experts describe as potato pollution. Did we get that? We already passed it? Okay, right. Okay. I want to talk to you about something that I think is the antidote to the problems caused by potato pollution, and that is something called Queen Esther Cool. Hamentaschen, that's how you address under this new movement that could be sweeping our nation soon. Hamentaschen could be part of a solution for an area trying to bounce back. As Jews, our familiarity with Hamentaschen and our historical experiences with the garment industry will position us to lead a new economic and cultural movement. We could provide critical, important benefits to the Akron area if we promote Hamentaschen as a catalyst for job growth, improved public service, and trending new clotheslines. Think about a new line of clothing that is Akron Jewish-centric. Copied from Haman, these stunning new clothes would be worn by every citizen, from Horowitz to Horrigan to Dr. Hannah Beth Blum. We would call it Queen Esther Cool. The clothes would be made by thousands of brave Jewish young people, undaunted by the precarious history of the garment industry. They would be easily recruited from around the world, making the Akron area a mecca for young families eager to join the movement, and most importantly, they'd be well equipped to pay their temple dues. Citizens of this area could join together, like the Israelis of old, planting fruit trees in food deserts. Hamentaschen trucks could be appearing in the downtown, attracting tourists from around the world. Locally grown Hamentaschen could be served at the mustard seed, as well as at the drive-through windows in every parking lot throughout the area. A revival of the Jewish bakery and delis would surely follow. City workers would improve their productivity by leaps and bounds if they are supplied with Hamentaschen. Snowplow drivers, I know your favorite people, will cheerfully get behind the plows and push if they know that a hot Hamentaschen is waiting for them while they get back to the garage. Others will carry bags of Hamentaschen with them as they reach for quick energy, something that latkes just can't do. So now, you got the Dylan thing? Okay. Some of you may remember this famous Jewish poet. And one of his phrases and songs that he was most famous for was something called, "The hard rain is going to fall." So it's very clear that latkes pose a continuous threat to the health and well-being of the area's infrastructure and citizens' health. And it's also clear that Queen Esther Cool would create a utopian, egalitarian society that we would all love to be part of. But as the Jewish poet Dylan once predicted, a hard rain's going to fall, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can stop our addiction to foreign oil. We can move to a more Hamantashen-based economy, which will provide jobs, healthy eating, and a role for Jewish people to fulfill their chosen one's destiny. A first step might be, and I'd like to hear applause to this one, the election of Dr. Hannah Beth Blum to public office. And with that, I'll thank you all very much.
Thank you, Rich. We're halfway home, people. Let's give our presenters a round of applause once more. Len Rose was born and raised in New York City and proves the adage, you can take the boy out of the city, but you can't take the city out of the boy. Len has more degrees than a cheap thermometer, having earned them from Bronx High School of Science, City College of New York, Goddard College, and Columbia University. He is married to Joanne Beck, and their sons, Benjamin and Daniel, are alumni of the Littman School. Len's work experience in marketing and academia include household names, depending on your household, such as Trans World Airlines, Laura Ashley, Summit Racing Equipment, and Myers University. Now in his teen years, as the golden years have eluded him, he's the editor of Beth El's Bulletin. His religious affiliation is with Temple Beth Shalom in Hudson, although on occasion he's been known to talk and congregate with members of Beth El. The Rose Mansion is located in Fairlawn, Ohio, and we have the same parole officer, Len Rose.
I happen to have a twin brother who lives in Teaneck, New Jersey right now. He looks a lot like that guy, but that guy is me. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss the ultimate Jewish soul food. Of course, I speak of the latke. Why is the latke the ultimate Jewish soul food? This is a two-part question. Part one is why. Why has confounded philosophers, prophets, and wise guys for 5,779 years? I cannot meet the challenge of this age-old question. Regarding part two, is the latke the ultimate Jewish soul food? I can only respond with a resounding yes. I have pages of research, testimony, and recipes supporting beyond a doubt that latkes are the ultimate Jewish soul food. Time limits and proximity of persons of the Hamantashen persuasion who have suppressed the truth preclude sharing this information. I assure you that this evidence is overwhelming and convincing. As you probably know, the potato originated in North America, not Poland. Potatoes happen to be a New World food. You may also know the Indians made the first potato latkes for the Jews at the first Thanksgiving. Potatoes are an important food. Doctors counsel those with a stomach ache, eat a potato. They are popular with children. Whoever played with a Mr. and Mrs. Hamantashen head? There is a national recognition of the latke. Andy Kaufman in the TV series Taxi played Latke Garvis and was never called Hamantashen Gravis. Even McDonald's has the McLatke, which translates as the big fry. By the way, Tashen is not about Haman's hat or his pocket. It is from the Hebrew for ear. Eating Hamantashen is the symbolic ingestion of part of Haman's body, hardly food for the soul. There are no bones in latkes, nor a bone of contention that latkes are the food of choice. I'm talking about homemade, authentic latkes like Mama used to make. My mama, not your mama. Grated potato with proper seasoning, a spoonful in hot oil, cooked to a golden hue, neither burnt at the edges nor raw in the center. Latkes never sit alone on a plate. Add applesauce for the complementary delights of a hot, tasty tuber, smothered in a cold, sweet fruit puree. In French, I believe this would be described as pomme avec pomme de terre. A latke's taste, texture, tone, and temperature are a festival for the palate. A taste test would resolve this debate, but not here. Latkes right off the frying pan are not available. A latke is like a flower, best when fresh, useless when wilted. Surely a convenience food like Hamantashen, which can sit on the shelf until almost moldy, has less soul than the latke, in which creation and consumption are parts of the same event. In summary, latkes should be our symbolic food for every holiday except Yom Kippur. Rebuttal is not part of this debate. However, if there were a rebuttal opportunity, my two-word statement would put this whole debate to rest. Prune Humentaschen. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. Molly Stock is a baker's granddaughter. Molly has been pro-Hamentaschen for over 43 years. When not promoting the merits of Hamentaschen, Molly can be found helping large healthcare companies, brands, and executives position themselves in highly competitive markets. She is married to David, also pro-Hamentaschen, but is raising her son Ben to appreciate all Jewish foods. Round of applause for Molly Stock.
Thank you. All right, buddy, go. Thank you. Okay, so today I'm going to take a slightly different tack than my co-presenters here. I'm actually going to talk about why the Hamentaschen is the most relevant food in today's society. And, you know, Adam spoke a little bit about what I do for a living, and don't ask my father what I do for a living. He thinks that I put the pharmaceutical ads on TV. I do not do that. But what I do in a nutshell is public relations. That's the most simplistic form of it. But PR, sometimes people conjures up these visions of, like, you know, the celebrity that messed up and their spokesperson kind of covering for them. Oh, they were sorry, they didn't mean it, da 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 da. It's not really what I do, but it's kind of close. But when you think about that, what you're thinking about is someone's reputation, right? And what my company is actually dealing a lot more with these days is relevance, of which reputation is part. But reputation, you could have a great reputation but be completely irrelevant in the industry or in broader society. I mean, think about companies like Facebook or Amazon. Really not great reputations. I think most of us are probably nauseated by them on a regular basis, but when you think about the context in which we all live, they are extremely relevant, they're very influential, and so you don't need to necessarily have a good reputation to be relevant. Now let's talk about food, because that's why we're here. So both the Hamentaschen and the latke have good reputations. You have a good experience with one, it kind of carries to your next experience. But only one, and that is the Hamentaschen, is actually relevant. So while reputation matters, relevance matters more. So let's dig in a little further. So just allow me a little bit of a schematic here that talks about what relevance does. So it kind of closes the gap between what the foods want to be, and they're trying to be what they would say, you know, because foods talk, and what people want or are saying from them. So relevance kind of sits in that middle ground. And there are about 8 different attributes of relevance. I'm going to cover 3 of them. Differentiating, attuned to stakeholder wants and needs, and timely and topical. So come along with me. I think I'm going to blow some minds. All right, let's first talk about differentiating, or what I'm calling personalized. So, you know, Leora, you talked about the latke and how, you know, maybe the base is all the same, but the toppings are, you know, you can have many different types. And I'll kind of get to the Hamentaschen in a minute, but again, putting it into the broader context of our society today. We are living in a personalized society. You can choose who you follow on social media or not. You can choose how you get your information. It is highly, highly personalized. And I might freak a few of you out. You might be going onto Facebook and, like, deactivating. But it is no coincidence when you go and look for, like, a pair of shoes when you're searching for something, and then suddenly you see all these ads on Facebook about it. It's actually not a coincidence. Like, it's not, you know, Alexa overhearing you. This is what, like, I do. We take all this information and we know how to personalize advertisements and content towards you. So, you know, we understand how to make things very personal. So the Hamentaschen, from my perspective, is the most personal food you can possibly have. I mean, I went online just to look for some pictures, and I mean, look, right in the middle, kind of the normal representation of what we think of Hamentaschen. Over here on the left, I don't know what's going on, but it looks kind of cool and kind of yummy. And over here we got like a chocolate Hamentaschen. So, I mean, you can make your cookies out of like anything. You can have chocolate cookies or red velvet cookies, also, gluten-free and vegan and dairy-free, whatever you want. And then the filling, obviously. I mean, you do whatever you want. You've got the sweet. There's savory Hamentaschen I found on Pinterest, of course. And now I'm getting a ton of ads about stuff on Pinterest. But, the toppings are really what you want, is the ultimate in personalization and how you express yourself through foods. Have I changed anyone's mind yet? Okay, we'll keep going. All right, raise your hand if this represents you now or at any point in your life. Okay, right? So, I'm a busy mom. David's a busy dad. We need things that are convenient. We live in a society of convenience. We want things that are quick. We do not need to spend or want to spend a lot of time with it. And the Hamentaschen is slightly more convenient food. It's easier to make. You can just use whatever's in your house. You don't have to go to any great trouble. The Latke, you got to go out. You got to get the 6-pound bag of potatoes. And who's got a 6-pound bag of potatoes sitting around their house on a regular basis? Only because it was Thanksgiving. But normally we don't. So you got to go out, you got to schlep this bag home, you got to wash the potatoes, peel the potatoes, grate the potatoes. If you are lucky enough not to have a food processor that's broken like I do, you do that, but you do it by hand. You got the onions, you're crying, the oil, it's everywhere, it smells, you smell like you just came from a fondue restaurant. It's a production, it's a huge production. Whereas the Hamentaschen is so much easier. And think about the smell too, just walk into a kitchen, it's that cookie smell, like my grandfather's bakery used to be. It's amazing. But even if you don't make it, even let's just say you go buy it in a store, you still got to heat up the Latke. It's still another step, which the Hamentaschen, you just eat and go. It's the ultimate convenience food. All right, last one. I think this is going to blow some minds. So, timely and topical. Now, I can't beat December. The Latke wins December, hands down. You guys got it. It's Hanukkah. Even non-Jews know what latkes are this time of year. So I can't beat you in December. But what I want you guys to do is pan out a little bit. We have 12 months in a year, and 2019's been a year, right? I mean, let's all agree we're all a little happy to see it go. And let's think about what this year has been, and when all of the media start doing their retrospectives about, what 2019 meant, there are going to be some themes that come up. The biggest theme that you're going to hear, it was the year of the woman. And there are women who were standing up to powerful men who were trying to cause them harm. There is one story of these two holidays that does that, and it is not the one about Judah Maccabee. So, therefore, the Hamentaschen, as the culinary appropriation of that story, makes it officially the most relevant food.
Thank you, Molly. Another round of applause for our 4 presenters. So that has been the debate for 57, whatever this is. Thank you. Now your task is to vote. Keep in mind, you're not voting with any of the names of the 4 presenters. You're voting for latke or Hamentaschen. Consider yourself lucky enough to have heard 4 arguments from our brave participants. So don't be influenced by Russian-originated advertising that you've seen on Facebook. For you Trump supporters in the crowd, I hope we all spoke slowly enough for you to get everything. And go vote. Thanks for coming.
Thank you again to everybody who came. Thank you to our 4 presenters. Thank you to Adam. Thank you to Aaron for organizing today. Thank you to everyone who's pitched in, who's eaten the Hamentaschen and the latkes at our dinner. The voting boxes are right in the entryway, so please just take a ticket and drop it into the box that you'd like to vote for. I noticed a lot of people voted already, which totally isn't fair, but that's okay. You still have an opportunity to rectify that pre-vote. and vote again. What did you say? Okay. The mail-in votes. Happy Hanukkah. Have a wonderful holiday. We hope to see many of you on Wednesday morning for our Sharing the Care Day from 10 to 12. Happy Hanukkah.
Hamentaschen! Oh, yes. Good job. Yeah?
Great.
That was great.
Somewhere in between. Okay.